We always try to stick to the facts, but right now I am about to air something false, something incendiary, and not to reward it with attention, but to expose it and perhaps ensure that it's not normalized. A major TV channel, Fox News, just broke out a smear that is unusual even in our intensely polarized politics, this weekend questioning whether the nonpartisan rule of law in America is itself a coup against Trump.
The investigation was weaponized to destroy his presidency for partisan political purposes. Now, if that's true, we have a coup on our hands in America. If you have these people plotting what it appears to be some sort of subversion campaign against the president or the president-elect, how dangerous is that?
Jesse, it's toxic, it's lethal.
How dangerous? A Fox News program is raising the specter of a coup when your White House aide there, who is paid with you tax dollars, is embracing this approach. And this was not just a poorly chosen word in the heat of an interview, which can happen. The headline banner there on your screen shows this pre-planned, deliberate frame, a coup in America. Brian Stelter, a former New York Times journalist who now works at CNN, notes that cable news banners don't just appear out of thin air. Producers brainstorm, fact-check, proofread them. Mistakes do slip through occasionally, but this, referring to that coup, he said, doesn't look like a mistake. Words matter. Words have meaning. A coup is the violent overthrow of an existing government, which involves seizing control of the armed forces. If you watch the news, and I bet you do, because you're doing it right now, you have probably seen actual coups, like the attempted coup in Turkey last year.
Troops seen closing off a main bridge in Istanbul. Then it escalated fast as reports came pouring in of army soldiers taking command of government buildings, a presidential office, and TV stations. The prime minister announced that a coup was underway.
Or take Chile, where a democracy gave way to a military coup in 1973.
The country began to pull itself together after a violent coup d'etat. The tanks, along with Air Force planes, set afire the presidential palace, which is where Allende died. Nobody knows how many people were killed or injured in the fighting, but Santiago is full of bullet holes, and some estimates of the casualties range as high as 1,000 people dead.
Those are coups. When they work, brute force is used to crush the rule of law. And it's the rule of law that Trump's allies are undermining by attacking this lawful Russia probe. You might think it's ironic that the forces undermining the rule of law are also the forces questioning whether other people are behind a coup. But it's not ironic at all. This follows a long pattern of abuse. And if a cable news banner ever called out for Orwell, it is this one. Remember, in his famous essay on language and politics, he wrote that political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectable and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. This is all maddeningly hypocritical because it's supposed to be. The ultimate goal is to achieve, through hyperbole and through this nonsense, what cynics have not yet achieved through typical public debate. They want to make you lose faith that we can get through this as a republic. I'm joined now by Richard Painter, former chief White House ethics lawyer under George W. Bush, and Malcolm Nance, U.S. intelligence and terrorism expert and author of The Plot to Hack America. Malcolm, are you concerned about this? And given your national security background, do you see a coup in America?
Well, I'm very concerned about the use of the rhetoric around this. This is almost psychological warfare preparation of the battlefield. That's what we would say, where they are trying to frame a narrative around the nation now that has a lot more to do than a Mueller investigation. I mean, if the Mueller investigation comes through, it will have been done in the Department of Justice. They're trying to say that the entire framework of the United States government's system of removing a president or finding out dirt about a president, that in itself is tantamount to a military force or a force removing people in power. We just saw a coup in Zimbabwe recently where the first thing that happened was the army hits the streets, they seize all all the radio and TV stations. I mean, you know, I'm sure that's Fox's worst nightmare. But this is not a coup. And this language is dangerous. It is, you know, they have a right to free speech.
Sure.
But you know what they don't have a right to? Sedition. They don't have a right to undermine the Constitution.